मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वप्नान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपादकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितां तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णभक्तान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपा तमहं वन्दे श्री गुरुं दीनतारिणं श्री परमानन्दमाधवं श्री चैतन्यमीश्वरं नमो श्रीमते महात्मा स्वामी नमो विष्णुपादाय विष्णुपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य Krishna Prabhu's Mataji. Today is the last day for Adhyatma Dipam session, and today being the last day, we will know that from yesterday's discussion points on 4th Canto 19th chapter, a couple of things, points or questions were still left out for us to discuss on, and apart from that, there are a couple of few slides also which I thought would be of some help for you all. I will share them also. What I would probably suggest is that let's discuss those slides to begin with, and then maybe in another say 15-20 minutes we can proceed further with the discussion topics within that Prabhupada Maharaj's chapter. That hopefully that should be full. Let me share the screen and show you which might have left out quite a few things which I didn't really cover in that sense, but something which is covered during the that why study Bhagavatam, which I'm sure most of you would not have seen that. Maybe we'll just cover that quickly, and then we can proceed further with the of other things in the slide deck. Why study Bhagavatam? This question normally people ask. So one of the primary reasons why devotees, Vaishnavas, focus on Bhagavatam as a primary subject matter, or the knowledge, the reservoir of all knowledge, it's because it helps us achieve the ultimate purpose of the devotee. It helps us achieve the basic quality. What is that Krishna expects from us? Jiver Daya Nam Ruchi Sarva Dharmasar. It's a Bhakti Nota so nicely elaborates that point. We need to have Jiver Daya. Unless and until we have Jiver Daya, this human life is of no use. And second thing is Namaruchi. So how do we get Namaruchi? By being more and more attached to the topics of Krishna. There is the topics of Krishna, the Leelas, the pastimes, his character, his instructions. They are all so huge and unlimited. And by keep hearing about them, our taste for the holy names will also develop. That is one of the primary reasons why we should study Bhagavatam. These two things, to achieve these two things. The next is Bhagavatam is non-different from Krishna. So studying Bhagavatam, it's not like only by studying Bhagavatam, then we will do something. No, actually, the study of Bhagavatam, the relation Bhagavatam, hearing Bhagavatam, studying Bhagavatam is actually not different from associating with Krishna. And Bhagavatam is an incarnation of Krishna. Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahma Samhitam. That's a shloka that is quoted there. Uttama Shloka Charitam Chakare Bhagavan Rishi. Nishreyasaya Lokasya Dhanyam Swastyayanam Mahat. Gives Dhanya, all success, Swastyayanam, all bliss, and then Mahat, so all perfect. So whatever we want to achieve, Tato Jaya Mudiraye, that is said. Whoever wants victory, whoever wants to win, this is the best tool we have in our hand. Krishna himself is coming in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. The next is, I'm going a little faster because we have a few things to cover. Don't worry, these are more self-explanatory. If you have any questions, you can always take that later. So the other important thing that Bhagavatam is it applies to all varieties of people. This shloka is the prime shloka which my spiritual master also told all of us to meditate on in his last days. Throughout his life, he was focusing on this shloka as the prime shloka, which highlights the glories of Bhagavatam. More importantly, when in his last days, he was repeatedly focusing on this shloka, because there's no scripture in the world that can satisfy the hankering of bubukshitam, learned men, and at the same time mitigate the miseries of common people. This is the last and final instruction of Narad Muni to Vyasadeva. You have learned so much vast learning, but you have to give it in a certain way. You have studied Vedas, Ayurveda, you have written Vedas, Vedantas, everything, but how would you give it in a palatable way to people? They won't be able to sit and hear all your Upanishads and all the complicated logic and other things that you are throwing it in the Upanishad, Vedantas, Vedanta Sutra, etc. So give them in a palatable way. And secondly, it should also mitigate the miseries. Samapyadabra Shuta Vishrutam Vibho, Samapyate Yena Vidam Bubutsitam. Bubutsitam means those who are seeking after knowledge, those who are thirsty for more and more knowledge about the absolute truth. For them also it will satisfy their hankering. Prakyahi Dukkair Muhurardita Atmanam. Dukkair Muhurardita Atmanam. Again and again, because of being controlled by the three modes, because of their anxiety and their eagerness to enjoy this material world and the material, the sense gratification, they again get caught up in the miseries. So for them to come out of that loop, unending loop, this is the best way to give them make an escape route for them. So masses of common people are always suffering from material pain. So you please narrate this Bhagavatam so that they all can come out of the their maze that they are stuck in. So that shloka, please try to focus on again and again and again. This is the best shloka for us to develop that the awe and reverence for Bhagavatam and the taste for Bhagavatam. And the next is, aim of devotional service is to establish Krishna firmly in our heart, and Bhagavatam is the best way to achieve it. Dharma projita kaitavotra paramo nirvatsaranam satam vedyam vastavam atra vastu shivadam tapatrayon mulanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamunikrite kimva parairishwarah Sadyo Hridya Varudhyatetra Kritibihi Shushrusubhis Takshana. Those who are hearing with eagerness and faith, with firm faith, that kshanam, that moment itself, Sadyo Hridi Avarudhyate. He will come inside our heart, get himself arrested within the core of our hearts, and stay there until we allow him to leave. He will not leave. So this is whole idea is to retain Krishna in our hearts and always keep having his darshan. Always get the darshan of the Lord, and this is the best way to do that, because by hearing Bhagavatam, Krishna gets arrested And he is not inconvenient, by the way, but just by being arrested. By our love, we are arresting Krishna in our heart. So he is very happy to be inside in our heart, be residing. That's how he is always sitting in the core of the pure devotee's heart. And again, Tadvag Visargo Janataga Viplavo, Yasmin Pratishlokam Abaddavatyapi. This transcendental pastimes of the Lord described in Bhagavatam, it is directed towards bringing a revolution in the impious types of this world's misdirected civilization. The most beautifully coined phrase ever in all the three worlds, I would say. Prabhupada has given such a beautiful viplavo. It's a revolution that is coming. That was Visargo Janataga Viplavo. Yasmin Pratishlokam. Every shloka is directed towards bringing that love for Krishna in our heart. So, Shinvanti Gayanti Ushanti Sadhavaha. They are always enjoyed by devotees. And the next thing is, Bhagavatam should be worshipped as respectfully as we worship the Lord. We have seen this also in one of our slides earlier. So, all of us are looking for blessings from the Lord, and this is the best way to receive the blessings from the Lord. And finally, again, one can derive from the study of Bhagavatam whatever want to be derived from the personal presence of the Lord. We can feel Krishna's personal presence through these Bhagavatam, pages of Bhagavatam. So there is nothing to be obtained beyond Bhagavatam as far as our Krishna Bhakti is concerned. So this is one slide which I thought would be helpful. There is another one which I felt that I didn't cover it in that earlier session also. These interesting tidbits. This is a nice thing that will help you in certain ways. Some of this we have covered in a different way, but always, one thing that my Guru Maharaj always taught us is that simplify Bhagavatam as much as possible by your study. You like, say, for example, this 19th chapter we are taking, we are extracting the great transcendental qualities of Prithu Maharaj, transcendental qualities of Brahma, and then how to understand Brahma's instruction with Prithu Maharaj, and how in our situation when something happens like that, how we practice the principles initiated by in this particular chapter. So there is a systematic study. Prabhupada always wanted us to do a systematic research of this great literature, Bhagavad-gita, Bhagavatam, all books of Prabhupada actually. So if you see this Chaturshloki Bhagavatam, we just taken one example. Simplify the topics by deliberation. Deliberate on the subject matter and try to bring it down into simpler bricks, solid bricks. So these four shlokas, they are called Chaturshloki Bhagavatam. Just like we have Chaturshloki Bhagavad-gita, the 10th chapter of Bhagavad-gita has that 8, 9, 10, 11, that Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo Tesham Satattanam Mat Chitta Mat Pita Prana. Those slokas, they are the seed verses, seed from which the entire tree of Bhagavad-gita grew up. Or it's residing. Same way, there is a 4 shlokas in Bhagavatam also, which is the seed of the entire Bhagavatam. Seed means, why it is called seed? Because the potency of the seed is present in every bit of the tree, isn't it? From the seed only the entire tree grows. So everywhere in the tree you will see the potency of the seed being manifested. The same way, the essence of these 4 shlokas is present in all the 18,000 shlokas of Bhagavatam. All the 700 shlokas of Bhagavad-gita has the potency of those 4 shlokas, the essence of those 4 shlokas. So it is such a beautiful and powerful shlokas, the 4 shlokas. With that only the entire foundation of our bhakti is built. The building blocks are built. So it's easy. But if you study from Bhagavatam, it is very complicated. Especially the purport is too involved, long, and it's quite involved. But then we will have to find a way to simplify it. Even our study, when we simplify it, then it becomes very easy for us to remember. And when somebody asks questions, we can explain it in the form of philosophy. So if you see aham evasam evagre, nanyad yat sat asat param, paschadaham edetacha yo vashishyat sasvam. Let me open up that. Let me it'll be easier for you to learn, compare it with the. Yes. And I compare it to the shloka, it will be easier. So you please see the shloka here now. See, this is the shlokas here, 33 to 36, you see. See, Krishna is telling in the 33rd shloka, it is I, the personality of Godhead, who was existing before the creation, when there was nothing but myself, nor was there a material nature, the cause of this creation. That which you see now is also I, the personality of Godhead. And after annihilation, what remains will also be I, the personality of Godhead. So this is the best definition of Krishna. So you consolidate that as a, if you want to just identify the shloka, tag it with some term, definition of Krishna. Then the next shloka, he defines Maya. What is Maya? Whatever appears to be of any value, if it is without relation to me, has no reality. Know it as my illusory energy. This is the definition of Maya. That reflection which appears to be in darkness. There are loads and loads of this thing content you can discuss about it, but simplify it. And then the third shloka, 35th shloka, please know that the universal elements enter into the cosmos and at the same time do not enter into the cosmos. Similarly, I myself also exist within everything created. At the same time, I'm outside of everything. So this is how Krishna relates with the material world. It is all coming from him, but he is not related to it. And they can't exist without his mercy. Right? So that's a relationship between Krishna and Maya, or material energy. And then last, what is the thing? Now, after telling these definitions, Krishna is telling us what we are supposed to do. Who is searching after the supreme absolute truth, the personality of God, must certainly search for it up to this, in all circumstances, in all space and time, and both directly and indirectly. In other words, anybody who is after devotional service, who is after seva, Bhagavatam, chanting everything, all that we should be looking for is Krishna inside everything. If something is existing, you see whether Krishna is there. Like how Hanumanji was, when Mother Sita gave the pearl necklace to him as gift, what she was wearing personally, that's the last thing that she had, and she even gave that as a gift to Hanumanji. But he was, as soon as he got it, he was biting and chewing each of those beads, and he was spitting it. And Sita was extremely frustrated. I gave you my most dear gift to you, my most dear possession to you, and you are biting and chewing off all these things. You are showing your monkey business. But Hanumanji told that, no, mother, please don't take me wrong. I am just trying to see if Lord Ram is inside this. I don't want to have anything that does not have Lord Ram inside this. Which does not have Ram inside it. Right? So it's like that. We are supposed to be looking for Krishna everywhere. And if the Krishna is there, we take it gleefully. If it is not there, Krishna is not there, then we don't take it. That is Maya. Where you can't find Krishna, that is Maya. And one problem is that depending on our level of devotion, you may not be able to see Krishna everywhere. Like, see, if you are really in our neophyte state or atheist, for example, we won't be able to see Krishna even in his deity form. That is the level of our consciousness. But when you see the extremely mature, pure devotees, they will be able to see Krishna even in those things where you can't see Krishna. Where those things which don't even remind us of Krishna, it will remind the pure devotees of Krishna. That is the level where we are supposed to go. Yomam pashyati sarvatra sarvam cha mahi pashyati. So wherever those, they are able to see Krishna everywhere. To that extent, Bhagavatam will take us to that extent, and that's what Krishna is telling here. We are supposed to do only that always develop your consciousness in such a way that you will be able to see Krishna everywhere and everybody, and Hari Sarvatra Sarvata. That's the whole idea. So like this, we simplify the topic. And the next thing we need to take from Bhagavatam is that the speciality of Bhagavatam is full of prayers. Every canto has minimum 1 or 2, 3 or even more prayers. 10th canto is so full of prayers. And like that, there are several different prayers are there. And the prayers are very important. We have to focus on, just like in a sweet shop, there is always different types of sweets are there, no? Like that, these prayers are in Bhagavatam. The prayers reveal the transcendental relationship between Krishna and his devotees. And we have to somehow or other spend some time to learn them by heart. It's very easy. You just keep repeating that recitation again and again and again, and you will develop, you will easily learn it. That is very important. And the next thing is we have to understand is that 90% of the Shastras are about improving our behavior. Nowhere you will see, only 10% is about Krishna's transcendence, his Leela, his qualities, his beauty, etc. You will see that in every important section of Bhagavatam. Like Bhagavad-gita also, you see the second chapter 54 to 72. Arjuna is asking a question about devotion. Krishna tells fully about improving the behavior only. Dukkeshu anadvignamana, sukkeshu vigataspraha, and then raga dvesha vimuktaistu, krodha samati, give up the krodha, lobha, etc. Like that only he tells all the way till the end. Only in the last verse he has a little bit of touch of the Tesha Brahmi Sthiti Partha, that shloka. He tells that he will attain the kingdom of God. He is giving a slight glimpse of the kingdom of God. So why it is so, we have to understand. Why Bhagavatam, Bhagavad-gita, and Nectar of Instruction also, you see, all the beginning, there will be shlokas about improving behavior. Only in the end, Rupa Goswami talks about the Mathura, Vrindavan, Govardhan, Radha Kund, etc. Before that, it is all about improving the behavior. Why it is so? Because our entire purpose of the Shastras is to improve our behavior as humans. And then only we will be qualified to appreciate and relish Krishna. Without improving our behavior, trying to understand Krishna is Sahaja mentality. So that's why we have to always understand this basic purpose of our Shastras. And then this is very interesting. We should, when once my Guru Maharaj, we told Maharaj that, Maharaj, sometimes people make fun of us that we are just spending too much time with Bhagavatam. Then Maharaj said, that is very good. That's a good criticism. We are drunkards in Bhagavatam. We are drunkards of Bhagavatam. And we enjoy drinking. And this drunkards, they always go to the pub. They stay in the pub, they keep drinking, and then they while away, and then they come. So for us, it is our eternal pub, and inside this eternal pub, we always relish Prabhupada's Bhagavatam. That is Prabhupada's unlimited Bhagavatam. So you will never come out of this thing. As soon as you start, don't try to use Bhagavatam to achieve something else. That is the biggest fallacy that we do in our society also by and large. Suppose we are saying that, hey, I want to distribute so many books and then get the name of a best book distributor. No, that is again very base mentality of utilizing Bhagavatam for some name and fame. Or sometimes we want to become a scholar and speak and get glories as a big Bhagavatam scholar. That also Krishna does not want. He simply wants us to enjoy Bhagavatam, enjoy him in the form of Bhagavatam, and share it with whoever possible. That's a very important thing. And then as much as prayers are important, the verses before the prayers and after the prayers are also most important. You will see that in most prayers, like Bhishma Dev, before he starts praying, there is a beautiful verse which tells about his mood. Prahlad Maharaj, before he starts his prayers, how he approaches Lord Nrsimhadev, what is his mood, those things are so beautifully revealed. And then after the prayers, when the Lord offers some benedictions, how the devotees reacts, that is also very important. Even in Brahma's prayers, you will see Krishna is reacting in that same way. So that is also something which is very, something that is very important to note. Finally, this is something very, very interesting that my spiritual master told us, that how is you connect between Bhagavad-gita and Bhagavatam? What is the relationship between Bhagavad-gita and Bhagavatam? Both are not different from Krishna. But what Krishna says in Bhagavad-gita, he shows in Bhagavatam through personal example or through the examples of some devotees. Like say, for example, Bhagavad-gita 4.11, who knows that verse? Ye tamam prapadyante. Tam stataya bhajamyaham. As they surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Doesn't he say that? So if you see, this particular verse is a very beautiful verse. I will probably bring it out. This verse is so nice. Where am I having this verse now? 10, 43, 70. You see, this verse is so beautiful a verse. It's so nice to sing also. Mallanam ashaner nranam naravaraha strinam smaro murtimam gopanam swajano satam kritibujam shasta sapitro shishuhu mrityurbhojapate virada vidusha Tatvam param yoginam vrishninam paradevate vidito rangam gata sagrajaha. See, when the Lord is in the Mathura along with Lord Balram, he is walking inside that arena, no? When Kamsa, what is the sacrificial arena that Kamsa had built with all the wrestlers, all that thing, no? He's just killed Kuvalayapida, that elephant, and then both of them are carrying its tusk in their shoulder with the blood sprinkling, spilling over, and they are walking. They look very small and young. So there are so many people sitting in the arena, in that audience thing. For each one of them, Krishna appears differently, though is the same person who is appearing. So this is the verse which is related to Adhyatma prapadyante. As they surrender unto me, I show myself to them, reveal myself to them accordingly. You see the kind of people here. First is Mallanam. The wrestlers saw Krishna as a lightning bolt, like really big wrestlers. And then the local people of Mathura, they have only heard of Krishna. But then when he came, Runam Naravaraha, they are men, nice, very powerful men. They all see Krishna as the best of males. And then the Strinam Smaro Murtiman, the ladies of Mathura were only listening about Krishna until then from people who were traveling between Vrindavan and Mathura. So they heard about his beautiful transcendental pastime. So they had an imagination about Krishna. They formed an imaginary picture of Krishna. And they are seeing that same, the Smaro Murtiman is a stupid in person. Then the cowherd men as their relative, because the young cowherds, older cowherds, they all had come to the Mathura and in Kamsa's invitation. They all say, hey, our Krishna has come. Then there were also Kamsa's friends, the impious rulers. They saw him as a chastiser of all the impious people. Then in that audience, Nanda and his brother Sunanda and all of them, Upananda, they all were sitting there. They all saw him as a child. But Kamsa, Mrityur Bhojapater, for Kamsa, because he was always seeing Krishna as personified death, the one who was going to kill him, right from the time he heard that voice. He was always seeing, so he saw Krishna as a death coming. Like that, all these different people were seeing Krishna differently. So this is the verse in which Krishna shows what he is saying in Bhagavad-gita. Like this, you will connect Bhagavad-gita and Bhagavatam. In many different places, you can see that connect. So these are some of the tidbits. We should. I just thought I would share. Many more are there, but just wanted to pick out. I picked up only the salient ones, and I'm sharing it here for your benefit. So now, this is something which I thought I would share. There are also many other things about guideline for preachers, which anyway I will be sharing in the notes. You will be able to pick it up. The unintelligent as Supreme Lord, Sachinandan Prabhu is asking a question about unintelligent as a Supreme Lord. That is like they have not accepted Krishna as the Supreme, Krishna's form as the Supreme, you see. They are not so intelligent, but they are kind of halfway there. They accept the universal form, Lord's universal form. So that way they are For them, Krishna shows them, because they are not intelligent enough to accept the his personal form as a supremacy. That's it. So these things I will share about the guidelines for preachers and all. You can go through them. So now let's come to few slokas which we are supposed to study. From yesterday's discussion. Yes, Chanchalpati Prabhu, sorry. Raise your hand.
First slide you said that we should simplify the simplify the Bhagavatam. Some slide was there, simplify the slope.
Yes.
So I
Simplification.
wanted to know that as today's or yesterday Grantraj quote there, Maharaj is saying that before going to translation we should understand the verse, meaning of the verse. Now,
Yes.
but how that or how to simplify the things practically means when I am trying to read, I feel it difficult only Sanskrit as it is Sanskrit. Then I read the word meaning also, but still I am not able to get the meaning of the slope. As if I was saying, I have to go to translation per part, then again read it. Then also it becomes very difficult to understand. Matlab,
Prabhu,
for me, it is
we need to spend more time, Prabhu. Not all shlokas we can understand in 5-10 minutes or half an hour or 40 minutes. We need to spend. There are times when Maharaj, after 40-50 years of his, going deep into Bhagavatam, absorbing himself completely in Bhagavatam, he would still spend 2-3 days on a verse. He will spend 2-3 days on a verse and try to understand, go back, come back, come back. He will not just skip and run skip and rush, So when we, like even this Chatushloki Bhagavatam Prabhu, we broke our head. I mean, Maharaj used to give some nice tips and all that, and suddenly somewhere it will glow, this bulb that oh yeah, this is the best way to understand. For example, this Chatushloki Bhagavatam, I did not get this thing immediately. It was not just something that came in the first reading itself. I kept rereading. But one thing Maharaj used to say is that some of the shlokas in Bhagavatam, many of the shlokas, in fact, are so nicely explained by Prabhupada in his, even more simplified by Prabhupada in his, in Chaitanya Charitamrita purports, for the same shloka. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, almost 30% of the shlokas are Bhagavatam shlokas. Because they are Bhagavatas, they keep talking different shlokas from Bhagavatam. So those shlokas are most important shlokas. So there, when I studied, Maharaj always recommended that you first study the purport for this Chatushloki Bhagavatam in Chaitanya Charitamrita. There also those 4 shlokas are quoted, but there Prabhupada has given even more simplified understanding. So when I was reading through that, this idea came up, that definition of Krishna, definition of Maya, and like that. So it is, Prabhu, it's not like something like we have a method, but does not mean that I follow this method for 20 minutes, I will get it. You have to keep following the method, and one fine day Krishna will, Tesham evanukam partam, he will, aham ajnanajam tamaha. When he really is pleased with our endeavor, he will give. So you are already doing a lot, Prabhu. Actually speaking, I don't know why you should feel like that, but this kind of committed thing that you are doing, especially whenever you are studying, you immediately put the notes on and all that. That is really appreciated, Prabhu. And only thing that we require is patience. What did we say? We can worship the Lord by the careful and patient study. And sometimes, Prabhu, we won't understand even after many days of studying. But you know what? Even more than understanding Krishna, relishing his association is more important through the pages of Bhagavatam. What we are actually doing is that we are relishing Krishna's association by being more in association. So when we approach in that aspect, Prabhu, instead of being too much trying to understand, too much trying to understand. One particular section which I'm not able to cover because of time constraint is that how to reconcile the differences in the scriptures or the apparent contradictions in the shastras. That I had put in some three, four slides on just some shlokas from Bhagavatam and shastras already I had taken. I maybe will be able to cover it up in the when I share the slides with you. That you'll be able to do a self study of it. And if you have further questions, we can reach out to me. So I hope that helps, Chanchalapati Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
So simplification will happen. The more time we spend with it, the more Krishna will give us intelligence. The simplification is also not a gymnastics exercise of our own intelligence, Prabhu. We are surrendering our intelligence to Krishna and he is bestowing upon us the wisdom. So patience is a must with Krishna. I hope that helps.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
So like yesterday, I don't know who was it, Pranav Prabhu sharing the screen for the 4th canto 22nd chapter. We'll discuss it a bit on the last 4 shlokas. Sorry, not 22nd, I mean 19th chapter. 22nd was 2 in different group. Getting confused. 419, 41, 39, 40, 41, 42, these 4 shlokas. I hope some of you were able to do the. Oh, are you doing it in mobile phone, Mataji?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
I hope it's not a. If it is done in the computer, then it will be much easier because it will show more content. Let me do one thing. I will probably share. Someone else is not there. Maybe I can share it myself. My screen.
Will this work, Prabhuji?
It keeps toggling between landscape and portrait.
Sorry, let me get into one.
Or I can do. Don't worry. It's not a problem. Because the shloka will not be. Okay, this seems to be a little better. I don't know. Others can. If they are okay with it, I am fine. I am going to read from the book only anyway.
Sorry, Prabhuji,
Okay,
today I don't have access to the computer.
No problem at all. No problem at all. So we were reading this verse now. This Vatsalyam, I think we covered it yesterday. How Puthu Maharaj, we have forgiveness of Indra is, like how mother is forgiving her child like that. So here, what is a lesson that we can learn from Prithu Maharaj? When Prithu was thus advised by the Supreme Teacher Lord Brahma, he abandoned his eagerness to perform yajnas and with great affection concluded a peace with King Indra. Forgiveness is one thing which we learned yesterday, but apart from that, what is the other quality that we can learn from and try to practice ourselves also? Implementable.
Prithu Maharaj is listening to the Supreme Teacher, spiritual Guru.
Sorry, listening to the elders. No, obedience to the elders. That is very important. Maharaj told once, Mahavishnu Maharaj told once that obedience is the greatest form of remembering Krishna. Obedience to the elders, especially Prithu Maharaj, Vruddashrayam, taking shelter of the elders. That's very important. Here, especially Lord Brahma himself is coming and advising. He immediately listened to that, following the instructions and guidance of the senior. Yes, good point. So let's list down these points. The first point was we discussed was his forgiveness. Second is this, obedience to the elders and following their instructions. Then what else comes?
For forgiveness too, Prabhuji. It's
Forgiveness
not
we
just
told
saying.
already. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry?
not even just forgiving. No grudges. So the waiting room consciousness.
Yes, waiting room consciousness. No grudges at all. That's why he was able to conclude a great affection. With great affection, he could conclude peace with Indra. Sometimes you may be able to forgive somebody, but we won't be able to forget them. That's why yesterday also we said forgive and forget, no? So that immediately he forgot. In other words, he didn't care. Okay, he has come. And second thing is, it's not Indra who asked for forgiveness first. He forgave even before Indra showed any inkling of asking for, or apologizing basically. He was coming, but even before he could ask, he in his heart, he forgave him first. Which means no holding, no grudges. That's a very nice point. We should list that also. Third point, holding no grudges in the heart. That's very important.
Humbleness.
Humble, yes, very humble. He was very humble in accepting that order and doing it, even though it was not favorable. It was not. So it was not really favorable in that sense. Normally, we will see that he is the one who committed all the mistake, the offense, and you are asking me to forgive him, even though he is not inclined for that yet. You may question such things. Let him come to ask for forgiveness, then I will forgive. That's a thing. But it will be sitting in our head all the time. It's better to forget about. Yes, Chanchalapati Prabhu. See, you have raised your hand.
Prabhuji, just one thing I wanted to ask, just as before, when you are showing slide there, you have given one MTR, memorize, realize, think, like this.
Memorize, recite, think over, and realize.
So when I was reading this this translation, and that time the thought which come in my mind, just suppose that when we do something which is not wrong, correct, and still we have been scolded by our superior that you have not that at that time we retaliate, we try to prove that no, we were not wrong, we were right. But here King Prithu has said nothing, simply the moment Brahma told him to abandon, he was ready to abandon. So I was thinking like this, that we are not doing this. So how will this is also coming to realization type thing?
Sorry, Prabhu, we are not doing this means what?
Means
What
we
are
are
not
not
doing?
following this behavior. Our behavior is opposite. If in our office, suppose we are doing something, we have done as per the rules of the what is the charter of the office, we have done as per that rule. But some customers say something against us, and then we have to justify that no, we were not wrong, we were right. But still, because customer is king, so we have to say sorry at the last. So there we justify our situation. But here Prithu Maharaj has not said that I am not at fault, Indra is at fault. He simply obeyed the instruction of Brahma and forget and forgive the Indra. So we are not able to do this. So while reading this translation, that process was coming in my mind, that we are not able to do this. We are a failure. We fail at this situation. So like this also, can it also be counted as realization?
Definitely, Prabhu. This is the first step. This is the first step of our journey. Seeing that, oh, I am not able to follow this. How nice if I could follow it. That eagerness to follow comes. Eventually, by Krishna's mercy, it will happen. But we say that, oh, this is all too impractical. This is not for us. What kind of a world we are living, and what kind of a thing they think. I mean, this must be in those olden days. Now it will not be applicable. If it is not applicable, Prabhupada would not be sitting and writing all these purports, wasting his time. Or Vyasdev would not have been sitting in the cold and writing all these shlokas. It is definitely practicable and say beyond ages. It's not particular for a particular age and this and that. So what you are saying, no, Prabhu, all of us are struggling with that. But when we are studying something from Bhagavatam, Bhagavad-gita, we say, oh, how is it possible to follow this? No, it is possible to follow. Let's just leave it in Krishna and Guru's hand. I want to follow. I want to have that eagerness to follow. I want to like this thing. First of all, you should like this concept of forgiving someone, even though they may be unfavorable to us, even though I'm not gaining anything from it. Apparently, the best thing that we gain from forgiveness is that we are free from it. You know, what is that? What is that nice quote that was there? Carrying grudge upon someone is like letting someone stay in our head rent free. At least we should ask rent for that. They're staying rent free. They have to stay in our home and in our head. Nothing else happens in our head. So many other useful things we can do. Actually, for all these things, only one sloka, if you read, it will be really beautiful sloka. I don't know if Mataji can take that sloka in here. It's 4:22:32. That's a very, very powerful sloka. Very powerful. 4:22:32. If you read just simply this one sloka, it will give the answer to all our questions. You can read the translation yourself, Prabhu. Natah parataro loke unsaha swartha vyatikramaha yadadjanyasya preyastvam atmanaha swa vyatikramat. If you go to the translation, it's really nice.
There is no stronger obstruction to one's self-interest than thinking other subject matters to be more pleasing than one's self-realization.
You got it?
There is, once again I am reading Prabhuji, there is no stronger obstruction to one's self-interest than thinking other subject matters to be more pleasing than one's self-realization. Okay. But it is opposite. We are generally thinking, we are generally self-focused, self-centered.
Yes. Everything else is to be more important. See, what is important? If my self-realization is important, then I will be focusing on my chanting, focusing on my study, focusing on the discussion of understanding what is, like in the other group, we are discussing about false ego, mind and other things. Earlier, we might not have had a good idea or understanding about the subject matter, right? Illusion, false ego, soul, who is doing, who is acting, who is the actor, who is the instrument, etc., right? But by studying those messages deeply, that Avanti Brahmana's thing deeply, Jadabharat Maharaj's instruction deeply, we are getting some idea, isn't it? That we seem to be creating that the jigsaw puzzle is getting into some shape, isn't it? You are there in that group, that's why I'm asking you, the other Bhagavad Vichar group, where we are discussing that for some few weeks.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So it needs a good, like-minded people for discussion, these things. And once our database, our knowledge foundation is solidified, then we can give it strongly to others. So in order to get that knowledge base, we need to have that genuine interest to develop our self-realization, to build upon our self-realization. And for that, whatever needs to be done, we will do it, provided we give the priority to it. But when this becomes one of the many things that we want to do, like yesterday we were talking about socialization, or sometimes we go for something, mix something with the enjoyment, and like that we will have some different things, mixed with, you mix these things. Then the intensity goes down for developing this knowledge of self-realization. And then we will have other things to be important. Oh, this also I have to do, that also I have to do. Then that is an obstruction to our journey, isn't it? So priority, if you want to develop more and more, advance more and more in this subject matter, we should give more priority to it. Nothing else should come in the way. That's what it means. When we see all other subject matters to be more important, more pleasing, then we will not. So that's why this verse, I really love this verse. So strong a verse to throw the reality. This is Sachinandra Lal Prabhu has said a very nice point about Prithu Maharaj's quality. Abandoning his eagerness to achieve some benchmark, taken a back seat. This is a very nice point. This is a very good quality. Many times you are stuck with that some target. Oh, I have to achieve this. I have to achieve this. I have to achieve this. Then if we give up the quality, always quality will lead to naturally to quantity. So no need to worry about the quantity part. We should have the quality in place always. Even if you do one round, we should chant with intensity. Even if you do one sloka a day, we should do it with the proper focus. Even if you do only one seva, we should do it properly without losing the focus. So that's very, very important. So I hope that helps, Prabhu.
Yes,
Rahul
Prabhuji.
Prabhu also said something like submissive to close associates of Lord. Actually, it is very similar to a submission to elders, Prabhu. It's pretty much the same. So we can combine, club the two. Okay, so this is from the 39th verse itself. We got some 4 or 5 qualities. Very nice. Let's move on to 40. Verse number 4, 1940. After this, Prithu Maharaj took his path, which is customarily taken after the performance of yajna, received the benediction and due blessings of the demigods, who were very pleased by his glorious activities.
Taken bath, which is customary. So following the
That is a ritual, Mataji.
Vedic rituals, yeah.
Yeah, that is more of a ritual. We are talking more about the character part here, which is fine,
Prabhuji, I think the humbleness of Prithu Maharaj is showing again here.
Yeah, and he is
like
praying to them, praying to all the demigods.
Yes, like he himself is a Satyavesh, Shaktavesh.
Yeah.
So he's still taking blessings from the demigods.
Yeah. And he was not telling that, oh, I am only worshipping the Supreme Lord. I don't want to get anything from you people. Nothing of that sort. He was very humble. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did that. When he was in Varanasi, he went and offered his, he went to darshan of the Lord Shiva there, Vishwanath ji. So there is nothing for the devotees, they take respect, they give all respects to all the devatas, the due respects. Actually, Prabhupada says something nice in the purport. A pure devotee, therefore, does not ask benedictions directly from the demigods. His quality was such that he was not asking any benedictions from the demigods. But you see, in turn, the demigods offer their benedictions to such a devotee. So actually, Prithu Maharaj's original purpose was to satisfy Krishna. But in that process, he invited all the devatas also, and he offered them all the gifts that is required to be given. Even though he was not in need of anything that the demigods will supply, he was not disrespectful to them or ignoring them. Many times we do that mistake, So we need to give the due respects to them. There is nothing wrong in giving respects to the devatas. Only thing we are very clear that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. While giving the respects to them, we do it with the thing that they are all servants of Krishna. That's it. Just like you are giving to any Vaishnava. So he is doing that. Right? And in the word for word is very nice, actually, which is not revealed in the translation. Of course, Bhuri Karmane, glorious activities. He was famous for performing many virtuous acts. That is what I think Prabhupada translates as glorious activities. So his activities are so glorious that automatically the devatas became pleased with him by his behavior. So that is a very important point to note here. So whatever he does, it is all very noteworthy and praiseworthy actually. That is an important point which we need to identify. And I think we can move on to the next 41st verse. Let's see if someone can read the translation. Vipra satya shishas tushkaha shaddaya labda dakshinaha ashisho yuju shatta adirajaya sakritaha. With great respect, the original King Prithu offered all kinds of rewards to the Brahmanas present at the sacrifice. Since all these Brahmanas are very much satisfied, they gave their heartfelt blessings to the king. This is again his beautiful demeanor in offering all the gifts to the Brahmanas. He was not leaving anybody empty-handed. He was very thoughtful and mindful of everyone who has participated in it. So a Vaishnava is supposed to be very conscious of everybody's contribution in an act. Like say anytime, like say some Janmashtami or some festival happens. Once the festival is over, then the devotees, they all call all the authorities, they call the devotees and identify and inform about the work, the services that each one of them did. Right? So that kind of a thoughtfulness, the mindfulness will be there, like on each one of their activities. It's not that, hey, I did everything, all of you are just following me, nothing like that. Being very thoughtful of everyone's contribution. So Brahmanas, it's not an easy task. 99 yajnas they are doing continuously, and one yajna itself to do is so difficult. We are simply doing some 1 hour or 2 hour with this so-called priests, and they are bringing some paraphernalias and does the homa at home and all that. That itself is, we are really tired of it. Many times people are tired of it. But these Brahmanas are sitting and doing for days and months together to for all these 99 yajnas. The 100th yajna is when the whole thing was there, the disturbance was there. But still they were doing it at any cost. So Prithu Maharaj was very conscious of their efforts, of their endeavor. So that is very important. As a Raja, that's why he is referred to here as Adi Raja. Adi Raja means one who set the standard or template for all other administrators to follow. If at all you have to be a king or an administrative head, you are supposed to follow these things. That's how he has set it. That's why his name, he is famously known as Adi Raja. He honored all of them so nicely. That is a very important quality. He did not leave anybody out. Anyway, my thing is failed now. Why I have to give sacrifice? Nothing. He said, whatever you had done for that, I have to reward you. So let's move to the next one quickly. Tvaya hota mahabaho sarvayeva samagataha ujita danamanabhyam pitradevarshi manavaha. All the great sages and brahmanas said, O mighty king, by your invitation, all classes of living entities have attended this assembly. They have come from Pitraloka and the heavenly planets, and great sages as well as common men have attended this meeting. Now all of them are very much satisfied by your dealings and your charity towards them. He was charitable, he was very respectful to everyone, and it was so glorious an occasion because of which everybody was satisfied. It's not possible for an act to be pleasing and satisfying to everybody. Somebody will be displeased whenever you are doing such a huge thing. See who all have come from Pitraloka, heavenly planets, great sages, everybody, even common men also have attended the meeting. And by his greatness, by his purity, even the common men are able to see all the devatas in their life. Normally, the devatas are not visible to common men. But because of the power of the king, because of the sacrifices of the king, his austerity and all, everybody was able to get benefited. That's how a thing should be. Us as devotees, we also should be that way. We should follow Puttu Maharaj's lead there. That we don't want to always grab the headlines. We don't want to always we don't want to always be the frontliner, front runner, and showing the what you call the poster boys. We don't want to be the poster boys all the time. We do the activities and in such a way, our service in such a way that Maharaj used to say one thing, that you should all be like, devotees should be like a wall. Like the wall is there. Nobody cares for the wall. You put a frame or painting on top of the wall, then people notice that the photo frame or a picture or some drawing there, art or something there. Nobody says, hey, this wall is so nice. Nobody says that. But then without the wall, all these things can't hang. So we should be like that, you would say. We should be like a wall. We should not put ourselves in front. So Prithu Maharaj was that way. He was always staying back, staying behind, and I think Sachinandan Prabhu said a little earlier, taking the back seat, and let others get the glorification. And that's very, very important. Otherwise, we will not be able to be compassionate. That competition, we were talking about envy and competition. Envy will start with competition and end with destruction. We will be competing. Hey, I was the one who is doing everything. All of you can get a little bit of glorification, but not more than me. I should get the maximum glorification. All of you can get little. That's okay. So like this, we have a very crazy attitude towards this pratishtha and all that. With that we cannot. With that attitude, we cannot dish Bhagavatam. So slowly, you should come out of it. Looking at the examples of all these nice. Such glorious characters like Puttu Maharaj and all. So quickly we are just summarizing because time is also the essence. So I end here, and few other things which we did not cover, I will share that in the thing anyway. Apart from this, any specific questions, comments, any feedback devotees would like to share? Don't worry about negative feedback. Please do share them also. It will be good for our improving the quality of our these discussions. I think from tomorrow you can continue your regular studies, Prabhu's Mataji. I know I have hogged the mic for almost 2-3 weeks now. So you can utilize these principles and also use your own. Krishna has given intelligence to everybody. There is nothing like only this is the only template to follow. Whatever we have gathered is my Guru Maharaj did all his hard work and studies, and then shared the tips and tricks with us. And we followed his tips and tricks, little bit here and there. We also tried ourselves, and most of those things we have confirmed with Maharaj, and then developing in our humble way. We are very, 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 very insignificant, tiny little ant kind of in front of a big mountain of the Shastras, in front of us, of the Bhakti cult itself. And you are all doing wonderful seva, especially doing this study every day for so many years. It's not so easy, but really all glories to you all. And in the process of sharing this knowledge, if I had committed any mistakes, inadvertently, offensive or anything, whatever, please forgive me. Seek all your blessings to absorb myself in this glorious Grantaraj, king of all the Shastras.
Prabhuji, pleasure was ours, for sure. Prabhuji, one question I have, one last thing. So when we say I think when we talk about forgiveness, one thing that I think I completely lag, I think I need to work on that for sure, is forgiving myself too, in the sense where I go, I try to achieve a quality or whatever is being taught. I try to put that into practice. But where I lag is when I put it into practice. Of course, I'm not going to be fast in the first go. Then I get frustrated that, oh, you know what, I keep on trying and it's not working. Sometime I think I need to practice that. You need to take the foot off of the pedal too sometimes. And look where I've become, or forgive yourself, learn to forgive yourself. I think I lag big time in this one.
Actually, Mataji, the thing is, subtly what happens there, we in a subtle way, we become the doer. We start thinking that I am the doer. That's why we want certain things to happen in the way we want. So there also we should be a little bit, patient with ourselves. But too much patience also can lead to laziness.
Yes.
Lacklusterness. The first day we will forgive ourselves. We will feel repentant of not able to say study or attend Mangalarti or chant or whatever. The next day the repentance will be a little less. And then the third day, anyway, chalta hai, it doesn't work for us. This is not my cup of tea. So that is also should not be there. It's a fine balance basically. And if you're too much, you are like worried that, oh, I'm not able to do, then that also becomes a boiling point or something which will not let us feel free also, so it's very important that, evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogatah, like yesterday we also studied, that prasanna manas, we should be cheerful, joyful, susukam kartum avyayam. We should be joyful in our seva. And we should be eager and enthusiastic about it. Joyfulness also comes with enthusiasm. So that enthusiasm, that eagerness and enthusiasm, it means we are actually seeing Krishna in inside our heart. Only when Krishna is inside our heart, we can feel enthusiastic. So these questions, this introspection that we do, all these help in our thing. So it is it's a nice, joyful journey. And we don't want to keep like some target achieving. I want to become completely forgiving in 5 years or 2 years. No, Krishna. After we say that, okay, I am no non-envious. I am not envious now. I am able to forgive. Then the next moment, Krishna will give a situation where we will be our thing will be smashed completely. So that's why there is a big difference between victory and jubilation. Jubilant, feeling victorious and feeling jubilant. Many places Prabhupada will use the word jubilant. You know what is that jubilant? The difference between victory and jubilant. Victory means I feel happy only when I win. But jubilant means you feel happy when when your opponent wins and you are lost to him. That's jubilation. So with Krishna, it's jubilation even when we lose to him. When Krishna wins, we lose. That is also a source of happiness, a source of bliss for us. So we pray to Krishna that Krishna, you please help me. And then if he says, no, you need a little bit more time to sing, and he makes us go around a little bit here, then we feel that, okay, Krishna, you are the ultimate winner. You always win, and I am happy to see you always win. So that takes out that thing, And we try in our own little humble way. We don't want to be like a big rock star or this or that. We don't want to be that. In our own humble way, we try what Krishna wants to do with us, let him do. We are happy to be of service to whatever, in a humble way, whatever we can do without unassumingly whatever service we do, that's perfectly fine. Unfortunately, we are in a period where recognition by others seems to be the yardstick of our purity. You see, I hope I'm making sense. It's
Yes.
like
Prabhuji, please
when
repeat the last line. That recognition is.
recognition by others is the yardstick of our purity. That's how we see our advancement or whatever, purity or advancement. So when somebody recognizes and appreciates us, then we feel that yes, I have done something great. If nobody appreciates, then I feel, oh, I am fit for nothing. Completely on the other side, I'm not useful. I'm not useful to anybody. So that is where
That's what.
that is where the shastras are very, very important. You see, any character in Bhagavatam, they were not hankering for name and fame. They were only doing their service without making a big hullabulla about their whole their situation, whatever, right? They were quite focused on the service. That's why they are all famous. Tukaram, why today such a huge yatra is happening? Not today, I mean every single year around this ashram. He never assumed himself to be anybody. He was simply trying to be a devotee, that's all. He was not having any position. Okay, I am so and so, I have reached so and so situation, so and so position. From now on, I should be respected to this point. So beautiful question, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you. And anything else?
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, as we have conducted this Adhyatma on 9 to 10 p.m., so something we can do that daily, at least half hour, 9 to 9:30, something, because as you have said now, we have to use our intelligence. But if we will use our intelligence, there is chances that we may carried by mental speculation or something like that. But if there will be your guidance, then we will be on track. So can for half hour we can, if you can plan in future, if there is any plan in your mind, so that we can be in touch and under guidance. Half hour will not disturb our schedule.
Well, I mean, I think you are forcing me to retire early. Let's see, Prabhu. I'll be more than happy to be of any help, but we will give it some time. Just give me a few days thought, and then if it is like a small group where we can just what I like is a very strong interaction. In the sense, there should be complete focus, and there should be healthy discussion, not argument, but healthy discussion of trying to understand. Like this, in this, like I could get some nice benefit from you all. Like when you jotted down some nice qualities of Maharaj. This is only these 4 verses. There is entire 5-6 chapters in which you can collect a lot more. So that kind of eagerness, like I've seen always that in you, Chanchalapati Prabhu. I'm so glad that we came in touch last year, around the same time, I think, with that Delhi Adhyatma Dipam. I think since then, so nice that you are really inspiring us very much. So give me a few days time. We will work out some modalities. 9 to 9:30 is a good time. We can connect. But how we use that half an hour to to develop it should be a continuous sequence thing, right? So let's see how it works out. I have shared my contacts with every one of you in the chat. So feel free to connect with me in either of these. The same number is there for WhatsApp too, phone number. Anytime, any questions or anything, you can always discuss further. And yes, thank you, Krishna Mataji. Please, take it as a wonderful journey for you all to release it. Nice, thank you. Narayani Mataji, I think you raise your hand. Sorry, do you have any questions?
हरे कृष्णा, दंडवत प्रणाम प्रभु जी।
दंडवत प्रणाम माताजी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
मुझे बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है क्योंकि भागवतम के पहले क्या प्रिपरेशन होना चाहिए वो आप बता रहे हैं। एक्चुअली बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है कि हम भागवतम तो पढ़ लेते हैं, लेकिन उसके पहले क्या क्या हमारा, जैसे खाना बना रहे तो पहले से क्या रेडी करना है, तो बहुत अच्छी से आपने बताया है। इसलिए अच्छा लग रहा है कि सुनने की क्या करना चाहिए हमें, बिकॉज क्या है, हमें मतलब मेरा कहने जाओ तो आई कैन अंडरस्टैंड सीसी लिटिल बिट। सीसी में कैसे क्वालिटीज है, कृष्णदास कविराज जी का मूड क्या है के समय, सार्वभौम भट्टाचार्य जी का मूड क्या है, तो ये इससे ऐसा लग रहा है कि स्टोरी मतलब एक स्टोरी बता रहे हैं। लेकिन भागवतम और भगवत गीता बार बार पढ़ते हैं, उतने देर के लिए याद रहता है कि व्हाट इज दैट देयर, बट वापस भूल जाते हैं। सो अगेन अगेन जब भी सुनते हैं सीनियर डिवोटीज से, तभी फिर लाइट मतलब हो जाती है ऐसे कि अरे हाँ ये उसमें लिखा है। सो दैट इज वेरी नाइस। और मैं वेट करती रहती हूँ ये टाइम का कि कभी आप आके ये सब बताते हैं। सो रियली आई एंजॉय दिस सेशन, मुझे बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है। थैंक यू
I
वेरी मच।
enjoyed your association too, Mataji. And thank you for.
और आजकल हम लोग भी रोज अभी मैं यहाँ समर हॉलीडेज चल रहे हैं, सो एवरी डे हम लोग हरी हरी में रहते, तो सम टाइम हम रीड कर पाते, सम टाइम नहीं कर पाते। सो हमने अभी रेगुलर बनाया है कि मैं और मेरे बेटे मॉर्निंग में भागवतम के वर्सेस और इवनिंग में भगवत गीता के वर्सेस हमको पढ़ना ही है, और सोते समय रामायण या कृष्णा बुक पढ़ना ही है। ओनली वन वर्स ओके, बट पढ़ना है। और आप लोगों की ब्लेसिंग से मेरा बेटा बहुत अच्छी से
Very nice. You read very nice the other day. Really read very nice the other day. It's so nice.
अगर ये भगवत गीता के चतुश्लोक की वर्सेस बोलना चाहता है, सो आप इसको 2 मिनट दे सकते बोलने?
No, please. We'll be happy to hear.
अहम सर्वस्य प्रभवो माता सर्वं प्रवर्तते इति मत्वा भजन्ते मां बुधभावं समन्वितान्. Translation: I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. Machchita madgata prana bodhayantas parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam dasanti cha ramanti cha. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. तेषां सततयुक्तानां भजतां प्रीतिपूर्वकं ददामि बुद्धियोगं तं येन माम् उपयन्ति ते. To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. तेषामेव अनुकम्पार्थम् अहं मज्ञानजं तमः नाशयामि आत्मभावसो ज्ञानदीपेन भास्वता. Show them special mercy. I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance.
Born of ignorance. So nice. Wonderful. Now, same way you should learn Chatushloki Bhagavatam also by heart.
Prabhuji, I know the first of like 3.
Aham eva sameva agre.
चतुश्लोकी भागवतम नहीं जानते हो, लेकिन वो अभी सीख रहे हैं उनके गुरुकुल में, तो ही नोज सम वर्सेस लाइक स्टार्टिंग के कुछ 1-2 वर्सेस.
Okay.
So one verse only he can recite.
Okay. No problem. Very nice. So you learn it along with the translation. You can do it later. Now we'll connect again, Krishna willing, soon, and you can like how you recited so nicely. You Bhagavad Gita Chatushloki and recite Bhagavatam also. Wonderful,
thank you.
Mataji. So nice.
You.
Where in UK you stay?
Leicester.
Oh, I've been there.
Yeah, please come up there.
Many years ago, but quite a few years ago. But
one devotee from Nottingham, I told her we are attending your Bhagavatam.
Who is that in Nottingham? Is that
one is Mauritius devotee, Hemo Krishna.
Sorry?
She is Mauritius, like lady.
Yes, her daughter is Radhe.
Yes, Radha and Rama. Yeah.
I know them. We used to. I was in Nottingham, and they used to. We used to regularly meet for the Namata programs there. We started that 6-7 years ago. Even now, we are continuing weekly study with that group. That group of devotees. Very nice, wonderful, Mataji. So we'll connect again. Nice. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. So thank you, Prabhu's, Mataji's. Really appreciate all your patience, your time, your wonderful, thought-provoking questions. I really got benefited by your association. Thank you again. And I will share this deck with you through Anandaram Prabhu. I don't know others how you connected to sing through that to his group or through some way you can connect with Prabhu, or you can, I gave my contacts to you in the chat. You can even message me, and if you are not connected through Madhusevita Prabhu and Anandaram Prabhu's group, you can message me directly and I can share you. I'll stop here. Thank you so much, Madhusevita Prabhu and team. I think Anandaram Prabhu is not here today. Yes, Prabhu. So thank you so
Hare
much.
Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat
Thank you
Pranam.
so much.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Dandavat pranam.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Prabhu.
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare
Pati
Krishna.
pranam.
Oh, you are there. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam. Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Prabhu. Okay.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna
Thank
ji.
you. Hare Krishna.
It was really nice. Thank
Thank
you, ji.
you. Hanumataji, I really want to thank you. It was so nice. Your questions
so
were
much,
so
Prabhuji.
thoughtful. Hari
Oh,
bol.
nahin,
Thank
nahin,
you.
Prabhuji. It's just your
Thank you.
mercy and Prabhuji's mercies.
Thank you. Dandavat pranam, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.